friends. This is Wheezy from the What is Truth podcast. Hope everyone is doing rather exquisite. This is a small clip, and if you fancy listening to the entire episode, please visit the link tree below. This is due to the heavy censorship on this particular platform, so I hope you guys understand and hope to catch you on these other platforms. Much love. To the What is Truth podcast, I am your host, Wheezy. Hope everyone is doing rather exquisite. I am joined by Matt Hoy, ex-singer of UB40 of 12 years. How are you, Matt?
I'm very well, my friend. Very well, thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's a treat to have you. My show, we don't go along with official narratives, especially when the government is feeding us these narratives. And what drew me to your story was how you essentially gave up a dream job, or you left the dream job over COVID mandates. Is that right? I got it all wrong, but I'd like to hear your story on this, because it's definitely it's still fresh in our minds. We're a few years removed from the origins of COVID back in 2020, but I feel they're gonna try to drop something similar at any time, and so I want people to be ready next time around. If you fell for it for the first time, maybe there's redemption, but if you fall for it again, there's going to be some issues. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, I was with. It kind of worked out. There's two UB40s, shall we put it that way? In 2010, Ali Campbell, who was the original lead singer of UB40, he left the original lineup to start his own band. So in 2010, I became his second voice, basically. He was always on stage with his brother, Robin Campbell, and I kind of took his place. And we went on the road and we went on tour, and there was Mickey Virtue, who was another original member with the band. He was the keyboard player. And in 2014, Astro, who was in the original lineup, he came over to our fraction of the band. And we toured the world for 12 years. It was an incredible position to be in, a great honor, especially if you're from Birmingham, because UB40 are kind of deemed as the Beatles of Birmingham, you know what I mean? So it was a great honor to tour the world and sing such huge songs that they have in their catalogue to people all over the world and be a part of that, But then, as you said quite rightly, in 2021, after the COVID shenanigans, the farcical, whatever you want to call it, happened in 2020, then we were looking at a period of where we could actually go back out and perform live again. But the band, the artist, Ali, and the management stipulated that we would all need, the band, I say when we say all, need COVID vaccinations to go back on tour. And all of them did. All of them took the vaccination, and I was the one who wasn't prepared to take it because it was untested, it was untrialed. So I wasn't prepared to take it. One of the main reasons I wouldn't take it was because I'd had a reaction to the flu jab as well, which was along the same kind of lines. It was a SARS vaccination. And so that was it, really. It was an unpleasant time. For me, having been a part of it for 12 years, like you say, I had the dream job. It was wonderful. All came crashing to an end. And I've been on a kind of crusade, I suppose, as a truther, as an activist, and speaking out on behalf of people who were also placed in that position where they had to choose between their livelihoods and their own health. And kind of been, I wouldn't say an ambassador, because I wouldn't really put myself in that position, but if I can help anybody and give advice on that situation, then then I truly would try and help everybody I can,
Yeah. It's like I mentioned, this is still recent memory with all this COVID madness, and I like to remind people of the silliness. Out here in Florida, I was lucky that people didn't care. I was a bin man. and I want to get your thoughts on that.
Oh, you've heard about the Birmingham thing,
Yes,
man.
I did. And so
News travels far and wide, man.
yeah. But when I was in the height of it, I was doing roll off, the roll off trucks, the ones that drop the bins in construction sites normally, or pick up the big dumpsters from garbage. I was doing roll off, and I had to visit a couple of hospitals in the area twice a week. That was my route. I had to dump those bins. And so when COVID first hit, I was worried. I already questioned government narratives, but the way the media was portraying it, I was scared. And I kept going to these hospitals, and it was weird that no one was there. I was listening on the news that all these hospitals were overran with people, too many patients, and it was pandemonium. I'm like, dude, I'm here twice a damn week. I'm not seeing any of this shit. But I remember opening the bins, once I got to the landfill to dump it, and the way the media had portrayed it, and the way my brain was processing this information, I was scared to death to open these dumpsters. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be full of COVID rabies and COVID juice, and it's going to be all over me. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm like, if anyone's going to get sick, it's going to be my buddies in the garbage industry. We're going to be the first ones to flop because we're dealing in nasty shit day out. And then after a couple of weeks, no one's getting sick. We're still working. Everyone's in lockdown. And then after the third week, maybe fourth week, I was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
So I didn't wear any damn masks. A few people around were wearing masks, but it was kind of like 50-50. And I work over 3 counties in my area. I'm not just doing garbage in my one Florida county. I'm in 3 counties at any time. And it was the same shit anywhere we went. No one gave a damn. I kept hearing this madness on TV. And none of it made sense. And one of the things that I have brought up to normies or people that still believe in this COVID bullshit is I live in a beach town. During lockdown, when people were locked down, people were coming to my goddamn hometown to hang out and avoid that shit, avoid that madness. You would have thought, because people from all the rest of the world were coming down here to Florida, that it would have been pandemonium.
Yeah.
And nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
So that was when I was like, screw this. Now, to this day, I don't know what the hell happened. Some people say there's no viruses. I'm open to it all. I don't know I still don't know, because everyone's experience was different. I could only tell my experience. Out here, it was not a big fucking deal. They shouldn't have closed businesses and destroyed mom and pop stores over this fucking bullshit. And and excuse me, but I'm still angry about it, man.
Yeah.
And so when I heard your story, like I said, it definitely resonated, because I think a lot of people cowered. When push came to shove, a lot of people cowered. You're forcing me to get a jab? All right. And most people did. Maybe some people felt like they didn't have a choice. But someone like you, I could continue this dream job, or I'm saying fuck the jab, and you chose the latter. And so that to me speaks volumes, man. And I commend you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I think, I mean, from what you've just said, it all resonates. I think the thing is because we're now in 2025, you kind of forget the last 4 to 5 years, how long it's been, how long we've been dealing with this. For me, I always say it was my Starbucks moment, and it was to do with the social distancing, what you mentioned, and going into certain restaurants where you could walk in and you had to wear a mask. And like you, at the beginning of it, I've always been a person that questioned everything throughout my whole life. I've always been that person. I've always been the person who's been a pain in somebody's ass, because I always question everything, even in employees and stuff like that. I'm always that person. It's like, fuck's sake, he's here again. Come on, what's the problem there? And I'm like, well, if that does that, then that's not. It's like, fuck's sake, you just chill. So I was always that person. But even with this, like you said, there was part of it that was so convincing. It even had me slightly at the beginning of it. But it was what I call my Starbucks moment. And I was out with my wife, and we were in Starbucks, and we walked in, and we did the mask thing for the first week. We walked in with the mask, and we went to the counter, and we ordered our coffees, and we sat down. And then my wife said, "Oh, you can take your mask off now." So we took the masks off, drank our coffee, and then about 30 minutes later, we still had about another 30 minutes time to kill. So I said, "Well, should we just grab another coffee and chill here for a bit?" And she said, "Yeah, that's fine." So I stood up to go and order another coffee, and she said, "Oh no, you need to put your mask back on." And I went, "Well, how does that work then? Because I've just been sat here for over 30 minutes without it on. Just because I've stood up, why do I need to?" And that was it. It was like the penny dropped. This is all bullshit. And so from that moment on, I just went AWOL with it. I just thought, no, fuck you. The whole thing is just bullshit. And I just went against the grain with everything regarding the whole COVID narrative. And then back into the thing with the band and everything like that. There was just no way that I was going down that road with any of it. And it was a scary time. And unfortunately, there was people out there that really fell for it hook, line, and sinker.